Why would the Candy be coming up with a new album?
The rapper Eminem.
Well, the Candy's always in a rapper, otherwise it's just loose. There are all these little things. The rapper Eminem is coming out with a new album.
It's called Houdini.
It's called chocolate flavored what?
It's called Houdini. It's dropping today. I pre-saved it.
Oh, I was going to say, someone should pick it up if it's dropping.
Yeah.
It's coming out today.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to be blasting in my ear all 4th hour.
Great. What's your 4th hour class?
Career communications.
I'm sure that teacher will just love
My
that.
final's done already, so I have nothing to do.
How can your final be done already?
Because the seniors were leaving, so we had to do like a head start.
Yeah, but maybe don't blast it because you maybe want to, have hearing by the time you're 30.
Oh, true. I'll play it.
Actually, it's really not that important because if you're married at that point, you don't really want hearing anyway. So I'm just pointing that out. So
Okay, but you still might want to hear something.
that's true. Well, how would you know when to say no to, Jaslyn, if you didn't hear anything?
Just say no.
What if you say no at the wrong time?
Oh, well.
Do you want $1 million? No. All right, I'll give it to the next person.
I think the only thing you really hear is dollars and be like yes.
Oh, so you want to give me $1 million?
Not you.
You just said you'd hear dollars and be like, yes. Make up your mind. You're confusing me. Don't do that. All right.
JoinPD.com.
Yep. Take out your computers, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to joinpd.com for the Pear Deck. What in the heck is that?
Yeah. But do you think this is good? I mean, I'll fix this part, but like, don't mind that part.
All right.
Do you need a little bit more on it? I'm not artistic. I'm just asking, like, I've seen some and they just have a little bit more to them. Maybe just a little bit more color.
You don't have to be artistic to, provide color and substance and things like that.
I don't know, some people just do like gray.
It's going to say right to my line.
Yeah. And like you said, like, I've just seen some that have just a little bit more content.
I'm
Can I just take this for a second?
I'm sure you will.
Because I don't want to
still have So that means if he's dropping an album, he's going to go on tour. Of course, because that's what all musicians do.
And then if you ask about on this album, what happened?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the scoop for today. We got a little bit of stuff to get through. Just strong acids, weak acids, a little bit more on some common substances that are strong acids and weak acids. I do have 3 Quizlets out there for you for this unit, 1 on the periodic table, 1 on redox, 1 on acid and base, and we will spend some time Monday reviewing for the test and giving you your study guide. Before you leave class today, though, your lab should get turned in and should get finished. There's only a few questions that you have to answer and only a little bit more on the strong acids, strong bases, weak acids, weak bases part, and we should be able to get all of that done today. Turned in, and then the only thing you have to worry about is your test on Tuesday and your final on Thursday. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I know it will break your heart, but you will be done with me.
Aww.
Thank the Lord.
Oh.
Wow.
Thank the school district. They're the one who set up the calendar. The Lord didn't have anything to do with
It
it.
was actually, I think I know who set up the schedule. It's okay.
Who set up the what?
The schedule.
Yeah. I know who does all the classes and
Me too.
who teaches them.
Well, actually, the department figures out who teaches what classes. But then Miss Lip does the scheduling after your requests come in.
Still, it's a big.
What's that?
Me and her are beefing right now because she gave me Miss Sutter, but it's okay.
Well, actually, she didn't give you Miss Sutter. The schedule did.
Well, still.
And think about this. Do you think that, because here's the thing, honestly, we had, before Miss Lip, we had other people who would schedule, and they would ask the teachers, hey, what kind of things would you like in your schedule? Do you know how many teachers would say, I don't want freshmen first hour or fifth hour?
I mean,
Well,
I don't want freshmen
Do you think they could make a schedule where no one gets freshmen first or fifth hour?
No.
No.
That's
But why
wild.
would they even ask that?
I feel bad.
they should
Because
know.
that's the kind of things people would ask for. People would ask for, well, if I have to teach like chemistry classes, I want those back to back, and then my other class is back to back. We just can't do that anymore.
It's weird.
Well, here's the thing. You guys drive the schedule. What I mean by that is they're trying to get you guys the classes that you want as much as possible. And sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes you want band, and band is the same time as this class, and there's no way you can do both. Then it has to make a decision for you. So,
Well, you have to decide on
And-
yourself.
and to be honest, it's not like Miss Lip sits there and goes, okay, I'm going to take Jasmine, I'm going to put her with Miss Sutter, I'm going to take Kiana and put her with Mr. Garai, and she puts it in, and the way it comes out is the way it comes out. So
We still have.
I know you can be mad at her, and that's fine. She takes full
I'm just joking.
responsibility.
I wouldn't have beef with her.
Yeah, you better not have beef with her. She's going to be your next principal.
Well, I'm friends with Sophia anyway, so I won't have beef with her. Why would I?
Oh, well, that's okay. That ain't going to cut any slack with Miss Lip. All right.
He is for sure the new principal next year.
For sure, the new principal
Well,
next year. Yes. No questions. All right, there's your code, ladies and gentlemen. JUR VMT.
Mr. Brand.
Nope. Mr. Brand doesn't fit into there.
No, but do you got clear tape?
Do I have clear tape?
I need some. I ripped out paper. I don't know how.
It's for
You don't know how you ripped your paper? My guess would be like pulling on it too hard.
No, it was in my backpack. But not in a folder?
No, I don't have a folder.
That could be how.
I actually had it in my computer.
You had it in your computer.
Yeah, because then I would remember to do it. And
Okay. Why don't you tape the back side in case you need to
That's
write on the
smart.
front?
that's smart.
See, that's why I get the big desk, Jason.
My dog keeps not gonna work.
And
I've
had that
How did you
happen.
miss it?
I had to
I
shoot
didn't
her
miss
like after he
it.
said that.
You choose up everything. Darn.
I don't do this type of stuff, Mr. Brand. I make pizzas. That's all I do.
And dang good ones, I must add. You do a good job.
Yep.
I think Gallagher's is the best pizza in town.
Debatable.
It is debatable, but you'd be wrong.
It's a debate between Frank and Pat's and Gallagher's.
See, I like Gallagher's better than Frank and Pat's.
I can't
They're
decide.
both good, but I like Gallagher's better.
Juicy umbrellas rarely make it missing turnips.
Now we can go, ladies and gentlemen. Ethan finally read the quote, so now we can go.
Yep.
All right. Identify the following properties, either acid, base, or neither. A pH of 12, would that be an acid, a base, or neither, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead and drag it on to the one that you think it is.
Pizza sounds super good.
I know. Could you get some delivered right now, Jaslyn?
Please.
But they don't even open it until 11.
So that's a no, huh?
Yep.
Damn.
Why so late?
Because not too many people are eating pizzas at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Unless it's chocolate pizza.
So that's true.
Do you guys have breakfast pizza?
No, because they're not open at that time.
No, I mean like if a customer requested it like after so many hours. Pizza Ranch does it.
Okay, Pizza Ranch has terrible pizza. They should be called something else ranch because pizza is not their forte.
Really a buffet. If
What?
I'm being honest. There's no pizza buffet, so I mean, like
There's not even like that many
pizza
pizzas. They got
and
like
then like the
4
salad.
pizza and that's it.
What's the question or state?
No, it's too like short.
I'm not a fan of Pizza Ranch. No,
No, me neither.
no.
And they
Gallagher's has a much better buffet.
They only have
Frank and Pat's has a much better buffet.
only vanilla ice cream.
What? Only vanilla?
Yep. I know. Okay, what about Golden Corral since we're on the food topic?
Ugh.
What about what?
Golden Corral.
Ooh, no. There's very little golden about that corral. So, kind of like the China buffet too. Ugh. Most buffets, not really good.
Whenever I need to drink it, I have to mix it with my straw. Let's see what's in here. It's on the right hand to it. Let's see how much red is in here.
The only time I go to Golden Corral is in the morning for breakfast.
Wow, we're pretty well spread out on that one, huh, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh my lord!
I think they forgot to look at their notes.
I do too. A pH of 12 is a base, ladies and gentlemen. Because you have to be over what to be a base? First of all, where would it be neither?
7.0.
7. 7 in the middle is neither. Anything above 7 is a
Base.
anything below 7 is an acid. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today. But okay, good. Good. Not good because you all sucked at that question, but okay.
I think base.
If it tastes sour. If it tastes sour, which one is that a property of?
It's that one.
It's that one.
Yep.
In other words, Ethan has no idea.
No, I have an idea. I'm just not gonna say the answer. I love citric acid.
Well, we did better because we're not neither, but okay, I do like the fact that somebody chose to pick the acid up in the title. Alright? Correct answer is acids, ladies and gentlemen. Acids taste sour. Okay? Feel smooth. Feel smooth.
It's
The one that you pick on your computer.
that one, yeah.
Yikes.
What faucet is dripping? It's actually distracting me. I'm sorry.
What's that?
There's a faucet.
dripping.
Oh.
It's distracting.
I got it.
He's
I
got
got it.
it.
Yep,
Oh, it was
thank you.
distracting me.
Come on.
It's okay though, because every faucet in here leaks.
That bad?
Zero.
Yeah, I've asked them to replace all of them, but they won't. Neither one feels smooth. That was not one of the properties that we talked about. Okay? Neither one feels smooth. Identify the following property. Turns litmus red. Turns litmus red. Well, at least nobody said neither, so that's a good sign. That is an acid, ladies and gentlemen. Acids turn litmus red.
You said it was a base at first.
So, see, the problem is when you go up there and you're now deciding that you're going to put it at the top, everybody knows when you're right or wrong. Yeah. So,
No,
Um,
you, Ethan.
produces OH or hydroxide ions.
I can't see nothing on my screen.
Your screen went blank?
Yes, my computer went blank.
Oh, I don't know why. Holy cow! Everybody agreed on base. Good, because it is base. Good job.
Watch me, all were wrong.
Well, that is a possibility.
I'm calling the next one being
Corrosive.
Well, technically,
Technically, there's two answers.
Okay, then pick one.
it's,
I think technically two answers, I think.
we should all put them in the line from the two answers.
Both acids and a base are both corrosive, ladies and gentlemen. Both acids and bases are both corrosive. Good. Questions? Okay, again, those are the type of things that are going to be on your test when you take it next week, ladies and gentlemen, just so we know. All right, questions? Wonderful.
You didn't do any fun ones at the end, Miss Bird.
I know. Well, we've been doing a lot of questions of the day, and so
Exactly.
again, something that ticks you off. No one came up with anything new since yesterday.
Mr. Brand.
Yeah, but that isn't going to ever change. That's got less chance of changing than Helen getting him to put the toilet paper over the right way at home. Just ain't happening. Just ain't happening. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, before close your computers for a second. Okay.
You said for a second, now reopen.
I didn't say which second though. Right?
Point.
Okay. So acids and bases, I gave you a lot of properties and things, and we're going to start talking about pH today. So real quick here, ladies and gentlemen, short video on acids and bases. That's pretty good. So here we go.
Mr. Bernard,
Shoot.
so since magnesium, I know it's kind of off topic, but since that is a chemical, why is it like? So I went to Walmart and it was in that like medicine aisle.
Yeah.
Why is it like? I didn't know it was okay to drink.
Well, remember, you're not drinking pure magnesium. Okay. So, for example, you remember when we did the reactions in the back with the metals?
Yeah.
One of the metals in there was sodium. Sodium bounced around on top of the water, burst into flame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, during the World Wars, the Germans used weapons called mustard gas. Yellow gas, heavier than air. They would literally open up containers of mustard gas, and the gas would roll downhill to the lowest part. The lowest part happened to be the trenches where the Allied forces were fighting. Mustard gas is poisonous. Yellow gas causes your eyes to get really dry, causes your throat to get really dry, and is poisonous to you. That's chlorine gas. Now you take that chlorine and that sodium and you put them together, what do you get? No, you get salt. You get salt that we throw on our french fries. You get salt that we throw on to popcorn. The difference is alone magnesium as an element is dangerous to you. Chlorine as an element is dangerous to you. But you put them together and they make a compound, and that compound has new properties.
Oh, so.
And then it's not harmful to you.
Oh, so the medicine, like in the jar, was mixed with something else.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
So when they call it milk of magnesia, it's an antacid. That's magnesium with hydroxide. And when you put those two together, you have a basic substance. Well, again, people who get upset stomachs, it's normally because your stomach is overproducing acid.
Mm-hmm.
So when you drink a base, milk of magnesia, Tums, an antacid, it neutralizes the acid in your body. Okay? It neutralizes the acid in your body. Okay? But one interesting thing in the video, and we didn't get into it or didn't get into explaining it much, is this idea that a lot of common things around us are acids and bases. Coffee is a base. Orange juice is very acidic. Lemon juice even more acidic. Okay? So what happens when you drink orange juice? Well, when you drink orange juice, that acid gets into where? Your stomach, and then even into your bloodstream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in your bloodstream, there are white blood cells. If your blood becomes too acidic, it will literally kill off white blood cells, which is bad because white blood cells are used to do what? Fight infections. But your body has these amino acids, and if you remember back in the unit that we talked about, the food unit, amino acids are what make up proteins. Okay? But they also are amino acids that make up transport proteins that move things around. They make up structural proteins like your fingernails, your eyelashes, your hair, things like that. And then there were what were called regulatory proteins. Proteins that help the body maintain certain things. Well, if you drink a bunch of orange juice, you're thirsty, and you down a glass of orange juice in a matter of a few seconds, that will cause your bloodstream to become acidic. But amino acids go in there and basically absorb the acid from the orange juice so that your blood doesn't become too acidic. If you drink a big cup of coffee, the exact opposite happens. The amino acids go in there and they absorb the base to keep your body in balance. Otherwise, bad things would happen to you if they didn't. Going back to what you were talking about with sodium and with chlorine. Sodium is absolutely necessary in the body. Sodium is what gets your nerves to fire across the synapses to allow your muscles to function and send messages through the body. But again, those are sodium ions, not actually the sodium metal that we're talking about in the back of the room. Sodium ions, but it comes from the salts we eat and things like that. So again, there are a lot of elements in our body that we need small amounts of to keep things functioning properly. Okay?
Yeah, I just seen it and I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Well, if you go to the store and look at the vitamin section, there's all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah.
And if you go and look at the minerals, it's even weirder because you'll see things that you've heard of on the periodic table. Magnesium, calcium, zinc, iron. Okay? Your body needs those things. And sometimes people, because of their diets or for whatever reason, they may not get enough of those
My mom
things.
was looking for Tums, and I seen it. I'm like, that's different.
So Tums are there too. Basically, they are bases that will absorb acids to calm your stomach when you're not feeling well. Okay? So, questions?
Why is citric acid in almost everything that we eat?
Well, it's not in almost everything that we eat. Citric acid is in most fruits. So it's not like citric acid is in is in all of our foods, but any food that you put lemons in, or lemon juice, or orange juice, or grapefruit juice, things like that, even cherries and grapes and things like that, all have citric acid in them. Okay, any kind of fruit has citric acid in it. The question is, how much citric acid compared to sugar? In lemons, there's a lot more citric acid and a lot less sugar. That's why they taste sour. Grapes still have citric acid in them, but they have a lot more sugars in them, so they don't taste as sour. Okay? All right. All right. So here is the slide that I want to show you, and this is slide number 51. So if you could open your computers back up and look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to get a little more into this. Excuse me. Okay. As they said in the video, pH was a scale that was created to measure how concentrated acids are. And it turns out we could also use it to measure how concentrated bases are. And it's a scale that runs from 0 to 14. Okay? Now, in the video, they talked about it being a logarithmic scale. Now, I realize that many of you, does anybody actually know what a logarithmic scale is? Not kind of, but a little more than that.
It's got a base of something.
It's got a base of something.
I think it's like 10, right?
It is a base 10. So, for example, if you go from a 1 to 2 on a pH scale, that means the concentration is getting 10 times larger or 10 times smaller, depending on which way you're going. Okay? So imagine Kayana having $1. That would be a pH of 7, let's say. Jaslyn has $10. That would be a pH of 6. Victoria has $100. That would be a pH of 5. Because that is 10 and 10 times larger than the $1 that somebody had to begin with. Ethan only has a dime. 1/10 of $1, his pH would be 8. 10 times larger, 10 times smaller. That's the way pH works.
So bigger the number.
But not only bigger, it is also about the fact that it is 10 times bigger. So okay.
He's really got a dime.
So here, a pH of 1 means that the hydrogen ion concentration for this would be 0.1. Okay? So there is 0.1 hydrogen ion around. For hydroxide,
There's a lot of zeros.
12 to be exact. So there is a lot of hydrogen there compared to how much hydroxide. Okay? Now, again, as we start moving on the pH scale, and again, I'm not going to make you remember these numbers. I do expect you to understand that it's a times 10 unit base. So as you go to a unit of 2, hydrogen goes to 0.01. Hydroxide now only has 11 zeros in front. Okay? If we get to 7, what do you notice about the two numbers?
They're the same.
They're even, which means that is neutral. It is not favoring the hydrogen side. It is not favoring the hydroxide side.
So would that be a no change then?
That would be, what do you mean by no change? That would be the one where it's not acidic and it's not basic. It is neutral. It's neither one. It's neither one. That would be water. Okay? That would be water. Now, when you get down here to a pH of 13, what do you notice about the numbers compared to a pH of 1?
It's single.
What do you mean it's single?
Like
They flip flop.
Thank you. And I don't know, maybe that's what you were trying to get to, Zoe. But the numbers have flip-flop. The 0.1 here for the hydrogen is now the 0.1 for the hydroxide. The 13 or the 12 zeros and the 1 are the 12 zeros and the 1 that are here. All we've done is flip-flopped it. Okay? All we've done is flip-flopped it.
Besides 7, which is neutral.
Well, but again, this is 1, this is 2. What do you think 3 would look like here?
0.001.
Yeah, there you go. 4.0001. 5.00001. And so on and so forth until we get to 7 here.
You're adding so many.
Then when we get to 13, we got 12 zeros in front. So all we're doing is putting a 0 in front each time.
So you put 1 minus the number for the zeros.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. We'll go with that, Zoe. We'll go with that. Okay? So here, the amount of hydrogen is going down. Here, the amount of hydroxide is going up because 0.1 is obviously bigger than 0.000001, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's the opposite way. Okay? Now, what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is again, this is a scale where we go from 0 to 14. So at the ends of your scale, ladies and gentlemen, 0 through 3, that is what is considered a strong acid. Strong acids are acids that will completely ionize in water. In other words, they will completely break apart. And they will produce hydrogen ions. Okay? Now, these are the ones that are dangerous to us. These are the ones that we should not eat. Okay? Then, the opposite end from 12 to 14, those are the strong bases. Okay? So on the two ends of your scale, on the one end at the low end and the one end at the high end, those are where things are going to be strongest. Alex, do you have questions? Okay, sorry. Those are where things are going to be strongest. Strong bases and strong acids are at the far end of the scale. 7 is considered neutral. Why? Because those become even, correct? So as you move closer to 7, you become a weaker acid and you become a weaker base. Things partially ionize. In other words, not all of the acid breaks apart into ions. Some stays, some does not. Okay? And that's the difference between a strong acid and a weak acid and a strong base and a weak base. Now again, these things are really corrosive. These things not as much so. This one really corrosive. This one not as much so. And then there is the neutral where it's not an acid or a base, so it's not corrosive to you. Okay? So that is what it means to be a strong acid and a strong base. And it's a little bit weird, ladies and gentlemen, only because 7 is in the middle. So again, the very end, 0 through 3, strong acid, 12 to 14. Okay?
So the smaller the number is, the bigger, like, the acid.
The stronger, the more dangerous the acid is. Yes.
And the bigger the number is the least strongest.
Least strongest what?
So you said, so from 0 to 3, that's a strong acid.
Yes.
But then we get 4 to 6, which is a bigger number, and that's weaker. So the bigger the number.
Okay, so then let me rephrase that because you're right, I probably wasn't saying that wrong. The further away from 7 you get, the stronger either one becomes. So 7, neutral, not an acid, not a base. 8, 9, 10, 11, a weak base. Still a base, but a weak base. But now you get to 12 to 14, very strong base. Very strong base.
Because you're separating from 12.
Because you're further away from neutral.
Oh.
The further away from neutral you get, the stronger you become. For acids, 4, 5, and 6, weak acids.
Because it's closer to 7.
Because it's closer to 7. But 0 through 3, very strong acid. Very strong acid. Why? Because you're further away from 7. Okay? Questions? Okay. So these, ladies and gentlemen, are some other things that are on the pH scale for you, just so you could see. Okay? So here's distilled water. You want to go bases or acids first?
Acid.
Okay. So just below 7, ladies and gentlemen, would be urine. Urine has a pH of about 6. Just below that, black coffee. Okay? Black coffee. I'm sorry I called it a base yesterday. It's actually acidic. Tomato juice has a pH of around 4. Orange juice has a pH of about 3. Lemon juice has a pH of about 2. Maybe a little bit less yesterday because our lemon juice was pretty old. Gastric acid. Do you know what that is? That's your stomach acid. pH of about 1. On the other side of this, we go up a little bit. Seawater is just a little bit basic with a pH of about 8. Baking soda, pH of about 9. Milk of magnesia, Tums, Pepto-Bismol, pH of about 10. Ammonia solution, the stuff you use to clean windows at home. Yeah, but ammonia is slightly different, but Windex has a lot of ammonia in it. pH of about 11. Soapy water, pH of 12. Bleach, pH of 13. Drain cleaner, pH of 14. Very corrosive. Very corrosive. But again, a lot of the common things around us are either acids or bases, but not everything. Not everything. Okay? Questions?
Is there anything that has a pH of 0?
Some very strong acids, yes. Hydrofluoric acid.
What about like floor cleaner?
What about like what?
Floor cleaner.
Most cleaning things are on the base side of this. It depends on the cleaner. I can't say for certain. But most cleaning things are up here, like Windex, Fantastic cleaners like that. They're normally on the basic side, and they're up here. Why? Because soap is up here. Cleaning things happen to tend to be down up here. Okay? Fruit juices and things like that tend to be down here. Okay?
So, like,
Go ahead.
would V8 juice be a part of like tomato juice?
V8 would probably be down here around tomato juice, yes. Around tomato juice, yeah. So.
Where would Red Bull be?
I have no idea. I don't know what's in it enough to tell you for sure. So, not sure. So, other questions? Okay. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the slide you need to finish off your lab from yesterday. This is the one that you need because now, again, do red and blue litmus help you here? Do the litmus paper turning red and the litmus paper turning blue, do they help you identify strong acid and weak acid? No. All they help you identify is if it's an acid or a base, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got to base strong acid and weak acid on? The pH, either the pH paper or the pH reading on the probe. Those are the ones you got to look at for strong acid and strong base. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you open up your lab and you're looking at it here, ladies and gentlemen, again, what is the number? What is the pH number? Now you can classify it as strong acid, weak acid, strong base, or weak base. Okay? By the way, what did you notice about this one here? Calcium hydroxide. Kiana.
It was, I had it up because I even was looking at it. It was on,
I think
it was on 6, which is on the acid side. Hold on.
So it was needed no change on the better.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. Even though it's a hydroxide, it's such a weak base that it didn't really show up on your red and blue litmus paper. And again, please understand this. Your pH probe. Those probes need to occasionally be calibrated. Does anybody know what that means?
Yeah.
What?
Like the calibration, you have to like fidget around with it so it gets like a specific set number.
Okay. So, for example, even the balances in the back of the room occasionally have to be calibrated. What that means is occasionally you'll put a 200-gram weight on there and it'll read like 196. And then it needs to be calibrated. And there's a way of doing it. And to calibrate things, what you normally do with most digital devices is you hit calibrate and it'll say to put on a 200-gram weight. And then you put it on there and you press a button, you take that off, and then it'll say put on a 400-gram weight. And what it does is it then says to reset itself. Okay, here's where I know 200 is, here's where I know 400 is. Now I can do a good job. pH meter is the same way. So you will occasionally have to make up a pH solution that is a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9, an 11. You put it in there, you say this is 3. You put it in there, you say this is 5. You put it in there, you say this is 7. And that will calibrate it. So it is possible that your pH probe might have read 6 point something with the water or things like that. That's okay. pH probes sometimes get a little bit off. Okay? Now,
I don't think we have a classifier side.
what is this? Anyone know? Ethan, you should.
Yeah, you smelled it.
What? This is actually vinegar, ladies and gentlemen. This is called acetic acid, and acetic acid is vinegar. So the vinegar that you have in your home, that you cook with, make barbecue sauces, pickle things with, things like that, that is an acid.
I hated that one.
That is acetic acid. Okay? Now, the other one I put on here that sometimes gives us trouble is bleach. What does bleach do to a lot of things, especially colored shirts and things like that?
Stain 'em.
Doesn't stain them, but it does what to the color? Takes it and turns it what? White. Now, some years I've had students dip the litmus paper into bleach, and what do you think happens to it?
Put it on the clothes.
Turns white.
Turns white. So there are times where you may be testing something and it won't show up as turning blue or turning red because some other chemical is interacting with it. So sometimes bleach will do that.
We had it turn green.
You had what turn green?
And I don't know if it's because we had a chemical like combined with it.
But which one turned green? The litmus or the pH?
Yeah, I think it's
The pH paper?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So again, here you're going to put in strong acid, strong base, weak acid, weak base, whichever one it is that you need here. Okay? So please fill that out. And now let's take a look at the questions. Which common substances, those in the white background on the table. So don't give me the ones that we know are acids and bases. But of the other ones, tap water, lemon juice, tea, bleach, Windex. Which one were acids? Which one were bases? And then did the reading on the pH meter always match the reading on the litmus paper? Explain why the readings matched or give an explanation for why they may not have matched. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if they match, that's all you got to put. And if they did match, give me a reason why. Well, because they were supposed to. They should match. The litmus paper and the pH probe should match. But again, we just talked about a way that the pH probe might not have matched because it might not have been something. Okay? So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a question where I don't care which answer you give me because I'm not grading you on your answer as much as I'm grading you on your explanation for it. Okay? And you can explain either way. So, you got to get this finished. You got to get the strong acid and strong base finished, and then you've got to turn it in.
So
Zoe.
that other half, we don't have it in our thing, like
That other half.
on the top where it was the classified part. We don't have that.
We just went through that, Zoe. What do you mean?
On there, when you had it on there, up there, to classify it.
Wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about here.
And you went up, and you had the classified part.
You're supposed to do that last column.
Yeah, she wasn't here for the lab yesterday though.
Right, but I put in the alternate with all the assignment, all the information.
I thought
So,
he did that.
based on this, Zoe, and this, you should be able to tell me if it's a strong acid, weak acid.
So you're saying he doesn't have the column in there for you to write it?
Right.
Yeah, it is the last column on there.
Yeah, she doesn't have that column.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know why. Let me add it on to yours. Sorry. I don't know why. Okay.
Did I tell you that? I don't know.
Thank you.
No,
All right.
that's what I'm
Hey,
trying to
when you're
ask.
done with that, ladies and gentlemen, in Google Classroom, there are reviews for your quiz on Monday. If you want to start looking at it, there are topics for, I'm sorry, strike that. Your test on Tuesday, there are reviews in there. There are topics in there for your final exam and for, I believe, the Unit 8 test. You can start looking over both of those. Please use your time wisely, ladies and gentlemen. Let me add that